What's up, everybody? We are back for episode 6 of Changing Up the Hip Hop Guards. I'm the journalist and seer, and that's my partner, Uncle E. How you doing?
What's up, man? What's up? What's going on, man?
Oh man, it's November, man. It's Hip Hop History Month. How can you not be happy at this moment?
That's right. That's right. And I'm glad and excited that we're getting ready to do this show. This is our second episode as far as the Hip Hop History Month episodes go. We're really looking forward to this one. So yeah,
Absolutely.
man, let's get this kicked off.
Yeah, me and you will be sharing some moments that changed hip hop as well as our lives personally. Last week we touched on the collaboration between Aerosmith and Run DMC. We also touched on UMTV Raps, Jimmy Spicer, and also Phase 2. So hopefully everybody enjoyed those particular moments. But this week we have some more. Like I said, these are moments that changed our life. And I feel like they changed the hip hop culture in general. This week I would like to talk about the Posse cut. The
Okay.
Posse cut, changed a lot. It was a platform to show and prove and not get outshined by those on that track. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about a few tracks that changed hip hop, influence wise, and artist careers moving forward. The first track I would like to talk about, and the first track that comes to mind when I speak of influencing the culture is Self Destruction. Remember that cut, E?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. One of my favorites. Um, Star Studded, right?
Oh, Star Studded. I mean, I don't think you could have fit too many more stars on this particular track. Everybody pretty much held their own. A little background about this song. It came after a young fan was killed at a BDP Public Enemy concert, and soon thereafter, Scott LaRock was murdered. So there was a call for unity, and everybody came together. Like I said, it featured Boogie Down Productions, Stetsasonic, Kumo D, MC Light, Dougie Fresh, Just Ice, Heavy D, and Public Enemy. What do you remember most about this particular song video? Anything about that time?
Um, I mean, the video itself was great, but I think if like right now, the first thing that came to mind was the scene with uh, Red Alert and Marley Marl, right?
Okay.
That was I don't, right now, right off the top, that's the first thing that came to mind, and I guess that was pretty cool because we all know at the time, right, the rivalry between Boogie Down Productions, the Juice Crew. So to see them two come together for that moment was really dope. Um, but everything was cool, right? Even the MC Light part, right? When
Pushing
it
Big Daddy
push Big
Kane,
Daddy
Big Daddy
Kane, and
Kane.
it's like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
shit, he's in the video too.
right.
Yeah, it had a lot of highlights, a lot of highlights. But that one stands out the most right now.
Yeah. I think that's what's missing in hip hop. We've seen lately with this Travis Scott situation. It's almost like not too much is being done or going to be done except for some type of monetary.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know what I'm
You're talking
saying?
about the concert that the show he just had, right? With I think there was like eight casualties and a few
Right,
injured.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
crazy.
yeah. So yeah, I feel like back then, artists took responsibility, and around that time, I imagine that song really made people reflect and put down the guns and stop the violence. And we talked a little bit about the conscious movement last week.
Right.
So I think this continued the conscious, if not kind of gave birth. This was 88, I believe. So
Hmm.
we talked about
88.
all the artists from 88 all the way up to about 91 that probably were birthed from this song indirectly. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. It definitely helped continue the movement. Um, and then they had their version over on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm going to speak on that next. 2 years later, the West Coast Rap All Stars got together. And I imagine, like, just from my point of view growing up, it seemed like West Coast had casualties much more, due to gang violence. I mean, I'm sure there was,
Right, right, right.
I mean, music was my CNN, like I spoke on last week. We didn't have the magazines and the Instagram and the social media to let us know the exact body counts on East and West Coast.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll tell you
But
one
just
thing from the East Coast perspective around that time, it looked crazy. I mean, like when you would hear the music, or for example, like the movie Colors came out,
right,
you know, for us, it looked like it was just wild, wild west, man.
exactly. And the music, I imagine it reflected a lot. You had the NWAs, you had Ice T, and so many more. But they came together for "We're All in the Same Game" in 1990, and that kind of branched off from Self Destruction. That song featured King T, Body and Soul, which featured D Barnes in the group, Def Jeff, Miss LA, Tone Loc, Above the Law, Ice T, Dr. Dre, JJ Fad, Young MC, Digital Underground, Oaktown's 357, MC Hammer. I believe Eazy was also in that, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
Because she
Was
still got
wait a
smoked
minute?
at Bebe's party.
I think so. Was it?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
that
yeah.
what that came out the same year.
No, 2 years later.
It was 2 years later.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
1990 was the release of this. So, like I said at the time, which is missing from today, artists took responsibility, and the music was, very much powerful at the time to make everybody, at least act straight for a while. You know what I mean? I'm sure it didn't last too long, but at least the artist took responsibility. And we got some peaceful moments from, let's say, 88 to
Yeah. I mean,
90,
it
91.
sent the message. You know what I mean? And if anything, when self destruction came out, it definitely made everything kind of stopped for a moment, right? You know what I
Right,
mean? Things got
right.
kind of calm for a moment, and made people start thinking and reflecting on what was going on in the streets and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think at that moment also, like, artists started taking off their gold at the time, and putting on the African medallions, and a
right, right,
lot
right,
more,
right. Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
more, a lot more peace. Uh, you know, a lot more brotherhood during that time. Yeah, but I definitely recall a story of artists like Run DMC and I believe LL. You can kind of look back at older pictures and see that they
they had the medallions on.
right.
Hmm. Right
So
now, LL wasn't in that video.
no,
And I,
no.
and I remember there was a lot of talk about that, like how come he was pretty much like the only one that wasn't in the video. There's a story behind that which I can't remember. I don't know if you know the reason why
I
he did.
don't.
I think it was the label. It was either
Okay.
Russell Simmons. There was something about there was a reason why it wasn't LL so much so, which is what we thought at the time. We thought
Right.
that was his ego or whatever. But there was something else to that. But then, do you remember the song that came out after that? I believe it was the Heel
Oh,
project.
Hill with Freddie Fox and Big Daddy Kane and KRS
And
One.
do you
The Hill,
remember there was
yes.
a verse? LL had a verse on there, but he wasn't. That's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, it wasn't the self destruction. It was that one.
Okay. Okay.
He had a verse in that one, but he didn't appear in the video shoot.
Okay. Okay.
That's the one I'm talking about, which was another Posse cut, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not sure if it fell in between 88 and 90, or
It
after
was
90, but
it
it
was
was
somewhere
definitely
around that
around that
time.
time, continuing the
Hmm.
movement. Like I said, artists stepping up big, and showing responsibility for the youth, which, like I said, man, is totally missing from today.
Yeah, definitely.
So, definitely two influential Posse tracks. Um, the next Posse track I would like to talk about is the Symphony, which included Juice Crew members Master Ace, Craig G, Cool G Rap, and Big Daddy Kane. Um, yeah, I mean,
Man, what a lineup, bro! What a lineup.
Originally, this track was only supposed to be Cool G Rap and Kane, and
I heard that. Yeah.
yeah, and the song was so long. I wish I could get my hands a hold of the original,
I
but
haven't. Have you heard that anywhere?
maybe a piece, but I
No.
don't recall.
Nah, me neither.
Yeah,
Me neither.
and the Master Ace and the Craig G made their way onto the track. But I think personally, man, this really catapulted Kane into the spotlight. What do you think?
I think it added to it. I think he was. In my opinion, I think he was already kind of there, and I think this was the cherry on the cake. You know, the cherry on the top of the cake or whatever.
Right.
Um, his verse when he came on, everybody. I want to. Well, Cool G. You know what? Cool G rap and Kane, right? Because we loved Craig G's verse. Master Ace killed it. But again, the hype between Cool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane, and then both of them coming back to back, that was monumental.
And to further the mystery of the video, it showed Kane not dressed like the others. So
He
there was
wasn't,
like,
yeah, he wasn't
there's
there,
a,
right? Like he wasn't at the
nah,
same video shoot.
yeah, I think he may have filmed his part separate, maybe at a later date. Everybody else was in the Western outfits.
Hmm.
Kane came as himself, so it just kind of there was a mystery around the whole,
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah. It looked a little weird. I mean, it was enjoyable, but it was kind of like, what the hell? And I wish he would have been there because what movie was that? Wasn't he in a movie where he played? He was like a cowboy.
Posse.
Posse, right? So it fit. Like he should have been. He should have been in the damn video. That would have been
Right.
cool. But it's still classic, classic, classic.
Absolutely, one of my all-time favorites.
Posse, yeah.
Uh, one of another favorite of mine is Scenario, A Tribe Called Quest,
Good one.
featuring LONS. Crazy, crazy lineup. This was kind of a free for all. Fife was already coming into his own from the debut album going into Low End Theory, but it was Buster Rhymes who stole the show. And, I think, like I said, as far as catapulting, this one was his
Oh,
big
for
break.
sure, for sure, for sure, hands down, man. He stole it even. What was before he got into his verse when
Oh,
Q-Tip you remember what did he say?
it's not the As I Come Back.
No, no, it was right before his verse when Q-Tip was doing his verse, and
Powerful impact, boom from a
I
cannon.
can't even remember right now, but
Yeah.
just hearing, yeah, Buster from the beginning, it's like you kind of knew he was gonna.
I don't know, man. Like with Leaders of the New School, I kind of thought Charlie was going to be the guy.
I thought Charlie, because of the fact that when they first started, he was everywhere, right? Like he's the person, he was like the front man. Like he was on all the interviews, every radio show, he was everywhere. So I thought he would go on, but I don't know. For me, okay, maybe this is a personal thing. For me, when I heard Buster, there was something about his voice, his the way he, his character. He was so animated in the videos and everything. The way he would dress, it just, I
It,
used
it
to
was
look forward to when even when I listened to like the leader song, I always looked forward to Buster's part. You know what I mean? It just stood out.
right.
But yeah, scenario, that's another classic, man. Another classic.
Absolutely. Another mention, I think it's going to be later, honorable mention. I can't, spend all night on these Posse tracks, but to further Busta's buzz was Flavor in Your Ear remix before he had the album out. So Busta continued. And like I said, Scenario was that platform to shoot him into superstardom. Would you agree?
Yes, sir. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That come on, man. Rah rah like a dungeon. Yeah, who hasn't done like you see what's the name? Nicki Minaj. Numerous amount of people. That just that one line right there is like a classic one.
Right. And round off my top five 30 years ago this year as well, Live at the Barbecue, which featured
Ooh.
Nas, Akinelli, Joe Fatal. Um, I mean, Nas was destined to be a star just off of hanging cats like the Ku Klux Klan. Um, I
Oh,
mean,
went to
it was
hell for
crazy.
snuffing Jesus. Oh man, yeah, he
Yeah,
just. I mean, and I forget what was 15. I mean, yeah, 15 years old, right?
yeah, yeah,
15,
young,
16. I mean,
right.
that it still amazes me to this day, and we're so many years away from that. But the fact that this guy was so young and has such an impact with his first verse, not even like just his verse. I guess that's why he's Nas, right?
Definitely overshadowed these cats on the track. I thought Akinelli was going to be that dude at one point in time, but
Okay. Yeah.
not quite, huh?
Nah, I mean, yeah, he had like his own lane, but I mean, Nas, as far as that posse cut goes, Nas shut everything down.
Right. I think that was four. I thought it was five, but my last cut would be Headbanger. EPMD, Redman, K Solo. This one for sure took Redman to the next level. Would you agree?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I, they all stood out though. I don't think there
Right,
was
right,
one. I mean, K Solo,
right.
that's another one, man. There's these certain posse cuts that to this day you play it and it still like sounds great.
Exactly. Honorable mentions: Stranded on Death Row, Flavor in Your Ear remix, 4321,
I was thinking about that
uh,
one.
and Nori band on
Band from
TV.
TV. That's enough. A big pun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always hear Nori talking about, that he had like one of the best verses on there. I don't know if he's joking around or
I don't
what,
even
but
remember. I don't even remember his verse. I think the one that stands out for me was probably
Nature
Pun and Jada. Pun and Jada.
or Jada, right? Wait, was Nature on that one?
Yeah, he was.
Really? Nature's verse wasn't bad either, though.
Nah, nah.
He
It
was
was.
he
It's
was he was hot. He was tight.
yeah. And then
now,
on the
now I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say, can I throw one honorable
Oh,
mention in there?
absolutely, absolutely.
I'm gonna say Nitty Gritty. I got to throw that one in
Ah,
there. KMD,
ah. Brand Nubian.
Brand Nubians, and wait, wasn't Busta Rhymes was on that one?
Okay,
Was
okay.
Busta Rhymes on that one, or was it the Nitty Gritty? It was either the regular one. I think they did a remix. He was on one of them though. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
because
gonna throw that one.
they were all label
They
mates
were
at
all
the
label
time.
mates at the time. Yeah, they were all on
Yeah,
Elektra. Um,
man.
yeah, what a lineup, right? So that's my honorable mention for the posse
Absolutely,
cut.
absolutely. And that's it for the posse tracks.
All right, all right. So I guess it's on me now.
It's
So I
on you,
would like
baby.
to highlight video music box.
Mm,
Uncle Ralph McDaniels, Lionel C. Martin. So before I even get into that, something interesting that you kind of brought to my attention was how I kind of forgot or didn't really realize or pay attention to the fact that a lot of people outside of New York didn't really see video music box.
man,
And it kind of blows my mind because of
we
how
were deprived.
I, again, I just didn't even think about it. And it seems strange to me because of the fact of how big and how popular video music box is, which
Right,
goes to show you that the impact it had, even though a lot of people outside of New York and other states or whatever might have not been able to see it, but somehow they've found out about it, whether, they've had to look, I don't know how or whatever, but that's just to show you how big of an impact Video Music Box has made because he's still continuing now as far
right.
as in hip hop culture. Um, so that's my first highlight is Video Music Box, which was created by Ralph McDaniels and Lionel C. Martin, who many might remember or know as the Vid Kid.
Okay,
Um, the Vid Kid, he was a host on Video Music Box. He also directed a lot of videos for, TLC. He even did some KMD videos. He uh, there's like a long list of well-known artists that he's done videos for. He also uh, him and Ralph McDaniels are the ones who started Video Music Box, right? So to give people an idea, he used to come on TV, which wasn't on the regular channels. So you had to, hopefully your antenna picked up the reception. It was on channel 31 when it first started. So you had to sometimes play around with the antenna, maybe put a little bit of aluminum foil at the end, try to, tilt it the right way to get Video Music Box. Uh, but it was, we were able to get a glimpse at the artists that we would listen to on the radio that we didn't have a face to put. So when we would get to see the videos, it was like the biggest thing. So they mainly did hip hop and R&B. This started about 1983. Between 83 and 84 is
Oh
when,
wow, it's been
yeah,
around that. Okay.
I was 10 years old. So 83, 84 is when they pretty much first aired. Um, when it first started, so this is what I was saying about other people not being able to see it, right? So it was on New York City Public Television, which was WNYC, right? That was the channel, which was the channel 31. Then eventually it ended up moving to WNYE. And then I think that was channel 25. But still, it wasn't the regular channel. So you had to try to get it and hopefully you were able to see it. Um, a cool thing about Video Music Box, what they used to do, so they were different than like other shows of the time. Video Music Box mainly would go on location. So sometimes they
Mm.
might be inside of a club. It could be at a school, at a park, and they would film from there. So what they would do is they would play a video, right? A video would come on. After the video, maybe one or two in between, they would shoot over to wherever location they were on. So like if they were inside of a club, you would have somebody going around, whether it was the vid kid or there was another gentleman by the name of Tuffy. Uh, the other guy was Ray Dijon, I believe his name was. Those were like the main. Oh, and Crazy Sam.
Uh,
Crazy Sam. I don't know if you heard of him.
yeah, he
You
has
heard
his
of
own.
Crazy?
He has his own tape out at one point in time.
He was, to me, out of all of them, he was the funniest one. He always used to do these different characters, and he, like, again, Crazy Sam, right? He lived up to that name. But so when they would go, let's say, to the club scene, you would have people partying, and they would go through the crowd and just walk up to people, and talk to them. And I believe this is kind of where they started the concept of giving shout outs came from, because they would go up to a person and ask them if they wanted to shout out anybody. And the funniest thing about this, and it was borderline annoying, every time they went up to somebody to give a shout out, they would scream at the top of their head off. And they were always trying to grab the mic. And you would see them like fighting for the mic. But and it seemed like it was a trend. Like nobody never got on the mic and just like, yeah, I just want to give a shout out. They would scream. Now I don't know if it's because they're inside of a club and maybe the music, so they couldn't. But to us watching on the TV, it's like, God damn. But it was hilarious, man. But it was really cool. So they would also go to certain events. Uh, I recently saw, which I forgot about, but like during the early times of Bad Boy, during Halloween, they used to do something every year for the kids. And so, the Video Music Box was always at these events. Also, in between the videos, sometimes they would just do regular segments where they would talk about current events or any particular topic. So it was sort of, I guess, for somebody, if I had to put a comparison, maybe like early BET, when they would show videos and then you had like different shows,
Okay.
but this was all Video Music Box, so it's not like they
Right.
had, but somewhat, it's before all of that. Uh, yeah, so another cool thing was their intro. The intro to Video Music Box was 5 Minutes of Funk, right,
Uh,
by Houdini. And that was cool because the song came out right around the same time when Video Music Box was going on. So the impact that Houdini had with that song was nuts. So when you would go home and turn it on and watch Video Music Box and you get to hear the beats of that, it just, it just made it was like taking you to an all-time high. And then they would have clips of different videos as their intro, and it ended with a scene from Beat Street, one of the um, think it was one of the Rocksteady members are doing a backspin, and then that's how it would go off. So
Right.
early on, I should say, incorporated uh, all of these elements of hip hop, and it was something that you had to stop everything you were doing and go and watch. Um, so that's pretty cool. And then I just want to make a quick mention too. I just said Houdini, so I want to just say rest in peace to Ecstasy, who passed
Absolutely.
away. And for those who might not know, they also consisted of Grandmaster D and Jalil, right?
Lil.
Uh, that's going to be another highlight coming up soon because they were also revolutionary in what they did as far as bringing like that R&B type of uh, swing, right? Which is kind of what the New Jack Swing almost started, was around that, right?
Right.
So shout out to Houdini and all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. It also, the was crazy is that 83, right? And still to this day, still going. So it's one of the longest running hip hop shows ever. And early on, another fun fact that I found out was that early on, when they first started around that time, they got to a point where their ratings and everything were higher than Oprah Winfrey. So
Oh,
that just
wow.
goes to show you. And keep in mind, we're talking about the tri-state area, right? You only talk about New York, Connecticut, New Jersey. That was it. So that's pretty monumental for them.
You
Let me
guys were
see if
definitely blessed, man, because like I said, like you probably didn't know
I,
at the moment because when
I
you're
had no
somewhere,
idea.
you're feeling like the whole world already knows what's, you know what I mean? And it was, your area getting the best of the best early on. We were kind of getting, the leftovers. I'm not even sure what shows we were watching in 83 and 84 before UMTV Raps. Of
So
course,
is like MTV the first? Would you say MTV for you? Let's say out in Indiana, was that the first video type of format that you saw?
probably. I'm not sure when or I'm sorry, not VH1, but
Uh, um,
BET's Video Soul came on. I think that might have beat MTV, but
yeah, I don't remember the timeline exactly, but
I
but
would
but but either
say,
way, those are the two that you can remember.
yeah, as far as video shows, it had to be, BET, MTV, and there was another show that would come on, Night Flight or something like that.
Okay,
But
I
that
don't
was
remember that
late
one.
at night. So
Night
yeah,
Flight. Okay,
yeah. Shout
that
out to the
I
Young
don't
Music
remember.
Box.
Yeah. So just a couple other things real quick before I give it up to you. Ralph McDaniels himself, he co-produced the films Juice, right?
Ah,
With Tupac and all of them, which came out in about '92, and he also co-produced the Roxanne uh, that was on Netflix. I guess like the biopic.
right.
He did that as well. Uh, and others, like I was telling you about the Vid Kid. I mean, he did videos for Nas, Mariah Carey. He's on Instagram. You can follow him. Ralph McDaniels is on there as well. The only one I can't find is Crazy Sam. I don't know. I don't know where the hell Crazy Sam is at. But Tuffy, he's still around doing his thing. That's the big kid right there. Still very active. You can follow him on Instagram. That's Crazy
Crazy
Sam,
Sam.
right? With
Yeah,
Busta Rhymes. And that's Tuffy, man. So he's another guy who, actor. He's done a lot of stuff. You can follow him on Instagram as well.
very dope.
Uh, mhm.
Ironically, I got to meet Ralph McDaniels this year. So I was very fortunate to get to talk to the legend for just a few minutes.
Nice, nice. And before I forget, I want to give him another shout out because he was actually at the signing, the renaming of, for the KMDMF
AMD.
Doomway. He actually came out and spoke. And so, that was really cool for him to do, take some time out. So much appreciated to him. And like I said, make sure you guys follow him on Instagram because he has a lot going on right now. You can go to videomusicboxcollection.org. Uh, he's in the process of trying to take all that film that he has and put it into digital format so that it's available for people.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He's in the process of doing that right now. And there's also a documentary coming out, which is directed by none other than Nas. So that's supposed to be coming out December 3rd, which I can't wait. I'm sure that's going to be amazing. And
Crazy.
yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have for Video Music Box, man. I want to share that a little bit of when he spoke at the street naming, but you can go to getYoursPosse.com and I'm sorry, Get Yours Posse on YouTube. I had it on the website as well, but go to the YouTube channel, Get Yours Posse, and you can see some clips of that on there. So
Right.
yeah, that's my highlight for Video Music Box.
Wanted to give a shout out to the Hip Hop Museum.
Yeah. Universal Hip Hop Museum, which is in the Bronx. And I know soon they'll have like the actual facility up and ready to go. But they're doing a lot of great work, in preserving the culture. And recently, for the month of November, they're doing this whole series of they're presenting like flyers, right? Flyers, and doing kind of like a little history revolving around that particular flyer that they post, I guess every day or every other day on Instagram. So um, I just wanted to share one of the videos that they just recently posted so you guys could take a look at it. And then, like I said, make sure you follow them on Instagram. So we could take a look at that right now.
This one is November 11th, and we got Big Daddy Kane and Latifah, and it says, Big Daddy's coming to Be More. So we want to know if you remember that date, and if you can share with us any reminiscences, so to speak.
Back during that time when we did this show, I believe that I may have been on my sophomore album. And if I'm correct, Latifah may have been a new artist at that time. Is that right, Pete?
Yep, that's definitely right.
Yeah, Latifah was a new artist. So, she was just coming out, but we met, bonded, did so many shows together, and always, showed each other love, man. So I have the utmost respect to Latifah, and I'm so glad and proud of her success.
Word. And, Latifah was out with you on the Big Daddy Thing tour. Like you had Light, Latifah, us, you, Digital with Tupac, Tupac's first tour.
Well, yeah. It was amazing, man. Like my crew and, you and Serge playing basketball, Digital Underground.
The water guns.
Yeah, Digital Underground starting the water gun fights. Like we grown ass men spending over $100 every day in Toys R Us to buy new water guns and stuff, Right. It was a lot of fun.
I think Minister broke his ankle. Remember that?
Queen Latifah threw a whole bucket of ice on him.
Right.
And he tried to run after her to throw water back on her and slipped on her ice.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. This flyer is actually the big poster that the Globe company made. They're down from Baltimore. They're famous for all the multicolored, posters that would, go up on the streets.
This flyer from November 11th, back in the days, man, it's crazy because it's like when you look at it now, it looks like an old photo, like old graphics. But at that point in time, it was amazing to us. Like we're the new talent, the new artist that's coming out, and we're seeing these flyers with all the colors on it and stuff like that, and the lettering and the way everything is structured, so neatly, as opposed to the flyers we grew up seeing as kids, during like the time of like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five or DJ Breakout Party, where it was just a bunch of typing and a bunch of misspelled names and everything just bunched in all type. It was like we're looking at this like oh yeah, we on that next level. But now when you see artwork today, it was like, damn, we ain't do shit really. But
yeah, I think that's your promo photo on that poster from the second promo photo that you had, because I remember your first promo photo, you got the cap on, kind of to the side. Right. That's before you had the bigger money to roll into K&I and get all the jewels. Albee Square Mall, shout out.
Yeah, man. Gibbs was the spot in Albee Square Mall. I believe that's where I actually got that blue silk dashiki that's from the promo shot.
Oh, word. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, yes, we're just trying to raise awareness and do that fundraising thing for the museum. So, you know, any help that we can get from the Big Daddy, much appreciated. And we really appreciate you chiming in on this classic flyer.
No, I mean, I think that what's going down with this hip hop museum is a beautiful thing and a very necessary thing, that our history and our legacy, and more important, our beginning, is documented for, you know, generations and generations to see down the line, you know. So, I mean, you know, anything that I can do to contribute or help out, I'm more than happy, because, you know, this is beautiful, you know. I mean, the world needs to, you know, remember Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Public Enemy, but the world also need to know about Kool Herc, Shy Rock, Cold Crush Brothers. So this is beautiful.
Yeah, man, that was pretty cool, right? Shout out to
Man,
Pete Nice, man, for you
allowing
know,
us to use the
giving us the
footage.
okay to use the footage. And like I said, make sure you follow them. The Instagram is right there, UHH Museum. They're doing a lot of great work, man. So shout out to them once again.
Very dope. Very dope.
It's
Yeah,
on
man.
you.
So, yeah, on me. I'd like to talk about a time in hip hop where things wasn't so smiley and polka dotty and high top fades and dancers. You know, there was a time when, you know, fun was a part of hip hop. You know, the Kwames, the Digital Undergrounds, the Kid and Plays. I'd like to talk about the year 1993. Things
Okay.
seemed to stop being fun, started being more serious. And I think all that contributed from the Chronic album, which was released December of 1992.
Okay.
I think
It was a different
East
kind of
Coast,
fun.
yeah, different kind of fun. Different kind of fun. And I think the East Coast looked at it as, oh, we need to step our game up. So they coming like this on the West Coast. And so moving from 92's The Chronic into 1993, I call that the year of hardcore. What do you remember about 1993?
For us over here on the East Coast, it was kind of, you still had, in '93, you still kind of had a balance to some degree. You did start seeing a lot more of the hardcore, but we still had, you know, the tribe and stuff like that. So there was still somewhat, you know, you still had the KRS.
Well, Karis One was always kind of, he could fit into the hardcore. I
He could
mean,
fit into the hardcore.
yeah,
But what I mean is, it's
there was a balance.
there was a little bit of a balance still around that time, but you started to see more of that, like Onyx and you know, of course, like with the Nas and just that whole, like you could see the shift, and it was just kind of at the brink of it. So
Right.
I don't think in '93 we really saw it as like, oh, something's totally changing. I don't think we grasped
It was a
that yet.
gradual. Yeah, it was definitely a
Hmm.
gradual, and you can see it later on. But you know, I'm pinpointing '93 as
The
the
start of
turning
it.
point, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
start.
yeah.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You had groups like Onyx. Yeah. So you had groups as well that wanted to be just like them. Remember the Hood Rats?
You had the Hood Rats. You had what was the young? There was the young kids too.
The
That
youngsters.
the youngsters. Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, the youngsters.
And I even believe they had like one of the hottest you know, MCs at the time writing their lyrics, Tretch.
Tretch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
So also, you know,
That's another one too, right? Naughty by Nature.
yeah, well, you know, yeah, they were
Yeah.
91, so you know, they were kicking
Listen,
that
them
hardcore.
braids and the machetes in the videos and spike bats. It was
Timberland
different.
boots.
No medallions and
Nah,
dashikis and none of that stuff.
right. Also, you had artists who weren't normally taking that path turn into hardcore artists. Take a Heavy D, for instance. You remember the sound of Blue Funk and
Yeah.
you know some of the subject matter. You can't see what I can see.
Right.
MC Light.
MC Light.
You know, with Roughneck, like that just totally was not her, but you know, that's the way hip hop was moving in '93.
I'm gonna throw one in there for you too that just came to mind, and I would throw Dougie Fresh in that equation. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember when he, when he tried to come out with that what was that song? The Hey Yo, all right. Like I wouldn't say he went that hardcore, but he did kind of go away from what he was known for.
Right. Probably one of the most evident was MC Hammer, the Funky Headhunter.
Yeah. Who Dougie Fresh signed with.
Ah.
Dougie Fresh ended up going over. I'm gonna get to that, but it's just funny how it all. Yeah, MC Hammer, man. Okay.
No doubt. Such Run DMC. You remember they had the Down with the King, but they also had, I believe Tretch might have wrote some of
It was
their
something
run.
that they did, and I think they had that look too. Matter of fact, in the
Yeah.
video, they had like yeah. Okay, before you keep going though.
Okay.
What did you think about some of these artists like the Run DMC, the MC Light,
LL Cool J,
LL Cool J, right?
14 Shots to the Dome.
Like, what did you think about them trying to do that? Or
I think it was evident. I think it was, what are they doing? But at the same time, it was like, okay, this is where the music is going, so they have to adapt or they have to try their hand at it. Looking back, I mean, it was an obvious style switch. Another group that was like night and day was the UMCs from their debut going into Unleashed. It was just obvious that they were kind of jumping on the hardcore bandwagon. I can't even remember any of the cuts off of Unleashed, but
I forgot all about that even existed.
It was just kind of sad because they had their own style with Fruits of Nature and Blue Cheese, and I really, I don't know if they felt under pressure to follow that trend or if it was easy, but being a group like that, it's so obvious at their attempt to fit in with that movement.
Trying to fit in, yeah.
Do you remember Kane going hardcore as well that year?
Yeah, and actually, we spoke about it when we did the Versus episode. It was, I don't even remember the name of the album, but
Looks Like a Job for.
Looks Like a Job for every single. Yeah, not good. Not good.
And even the West Coast influenced, little kids like the Crisscross. Remember Crisscross with the bomb and how they kind of wanted to be like little Snoop Dogs with their mannerisms. And,
yeah. It reminded me a little bit of Tretch too.
Yeah. Tretch had a big influence. What do you think about Leaders of the New School's sophomore album? That was a little bit.
It was different. It's tough, man. Like I said, because we it's not like you're looking at 5 years from their first album and you're like, okay, it's 5 years later. Things have changed. Like, it was too soon. It was too close to what they, so we liked what they offered to begin with, and then it didn't seem natural.
Right. There was no progression, no let me try one hardcore song. They just jumped out and did 16 tracks.
Yeah.
Shaved their heads bald, put on some Carhartt, and even like you said, the youngsters. Latifah. That was I believe
Apache, everybody started to look like Apache.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was also the year the Wu-Tang Clan hit, so it was perfect for them. They fit right in because they dropped in like November of '93 while everybody was bringing the hardcore. It was perfect for Wu-Tang to come in '93, even though they were buzzing way before then. It was a great progression. Snoop also dropped his album in '93, so they blended right in. Moving forward to 1994, it made way for groups like Nas, not groups, solo artists like Nas, Biggie, Keith Murray, AZ, Method Man dropped his album, Redman's There's a Dark Side. You can hear like he didn't have fun anymore between What the Album and There's a Dark Side. It sounded really dark and gloomy, just like the album title. Grave Diggers was also 94. And one disappointment was Main Source. F What You Heard. They went with Mikey D.
Mikey D. I know, but that's right. Mikey D is no joke.
No joke, but it just
didn't.
It's hard to replace a front man in a group like Main Source. Hard to replace Large Professor. It just wasn't, I think, the right fit for Mikey D.
I agree.
And moving forward throughout, the 90s, I think we spoke about that. The hardcore movement just kind of continued on, and till this day, we still have that element in hip hop. Just the I don't want to smile, everything's bad. Maybe I'll give you a dance track, but I think the turning point was 91's The Chronic. I'm sorry, 92's The Chronic.
The Chronic,
and kind of put the East back against the wall. And it also had a lot of knockoffs on the West Coast. There were so many people wanting to be like Snoop, trying to do the G-Funk sound. I remember MC Breed had a whole G-Funk album. He's from Flint, Michigan, but yet, his album sounded like it could have been a part of the Chronic. So, yeah, just a moment in time when things went from fun to serious.
Gotcha. Now, I just want to add something to that because I think a lot of it had to do with timing, right? Also, because we had Schoolie D, for example, who was before that. You know what I mean? And I think it's just the timing. I think it's because you would sort of say, well, Schoolie D, did he start that kind of hardcore?
They say he's the godfather of hardcore.
They say he is. You had Just Ice,
Just Ice, Ice-T made I think 6 in the morning off of maybe PSK.
Right. So I think the timing, I guess 93, when, like you said, the Chronic came out and everything, I think it was just that, the atmosphere and I want to say maybe even the record labels, you know what I mean, might have seen something there and just started pouring their money behind it.
Oh, absolutely. I think Interscope, that's all they poured their money behind. You got Tupac on the label at one point in time with Strictly, and I think I'm not sure if his debut album was on there, but yeah, labels definitely were chasing the next hardcore act. Even I think Russell Simmons' nephews were in Flatliners, so he had to try to capitalize on that wave, even though they didn't make a splash, but that Onyx wave was a big deal. So just that whole look, I remember, like I said, the bald heads. MOP, how about some hardcore?
Mobb Deep.
And remember the terms that year, those years, hardcore, keep it real, raw, rugged.
Yeah. It was a whole different lingo that started coming out, right?
Yeah, I don't know how many Keep It Real songs dropped.
Keep It Real, oh my God.
On the Real, Keep It Real.
When people get to have a nerve to talk about like stuff that's out now, right? Like certain sayings or whatever. And I'm like, I guess we have amnesia. Hip hop has amnesia or something because we don't remember anything. We complain about the way kids dress now, like as if cats wasn't running around with straight leg pants back in the day. Right. Or even the baggy pants hanging off the butts. That wasn't now. That came out before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool, man. Yeah. Good transition. So I guess it's on me.
It's on you. It's on you for
All
the
right.
3-pointer at the buzzer.
Okay, so for the 3-point shot, I'm going with my boy Dougie Fresh.
Hey, yo, all right.
Now, I just want to mention that one of the reasons why I chose Dougie Fresh was mainly because of the beatbox, right? Yes, he was an artist, he's an MC, he's a producer, but I want to highlight him because of his beatbox. And the reason why is because, like you said earlier, we're also mentioning things that had an impact on us ourselves.
Right.
And, you know, when I heard Dougie Fresh, you know, and doing the beatbox and all of that, I was amazed. I loved it. And also what I loved about him was that my favorite songs that Dougie Fresh, whether it's his or that he's been on, is when he's doing the beatbox, right? Like Lottie Dottie, even on his other stuff like Nothing, the Human Beatbox. Like anytime he's doing something where he's doing the beatbox, it's one of my favorite moments.
Didn't he have a moment in Self-Destruction?
Yeah.
Moment
Yeah. That's the part what I was saying with Red Alert and Molly Marl.
Right.
When he's like, we're gonna give a little moment of silence, and he does it. In matter of fact, yeah. So that's who I'm highlighting. He's dubbed as one of the greatest entertainer. Who he actually received that name from Chuck D of Public Enemy, right? So Dougie Fresh comes out. I believe he started as a solo artist, but then goes on to move and forms the Get Fresh crew, who was Dougie Fresh, Chill Will, Barry B, and then a little bit later, a gentleman by the name of Ricky D. Just keep that name in mind. Ricky D. So classic songs, The Show, Lottie Dottie, which it was an A and B side, right? The Show, can you imagine? The Show on one side, B side, you got Lottie Dottie, 2 classics.
Right.
So both of those songs feature Ricky D. A little bit after that, Ricky D leaves the group, comes back as a solo artist named Slick Rick. Now, there's a point in time in between that where we thought these are 2 different people. We thought Ricky D and Slick Rick were 2 different people, right? Didn't really realize, because sometimes he would kind of switch up his voice a little bit. I don't know if you remember. But, you know, then we find out when he comes out of Slick Rick, it's the same person and whatever. But so the show, like I said, you know, that had Ricky D on there. Interesting thing about that was there's a version, right, where Slick Rick, Ricky D, sings a chorus, right? It's from a song called Michelle. You remember this? You know what I'm talking about?
Michelle.
Right. Now, apparently, there's another version that doesn't have that on there because they had clearance problems. Now, I never knew that. I always heard sometimes that they would play a version and it seemed like it would just skip from one part to another and they didn't have that. So I'm like, you know, I never understood what was going on with that. And I just recently found out they had clearance problems. So that's why there's 2 different versions. And it seems like Ricky D used to tend to do that all the time.
Right.
Because he, again, on Lottie Dottie, now you got the B side, right? He does it again, where it's a Japanese song, right? Let me see if I got this right. Sukiyaki, right, was the original song that came out in like the 60s. It was redone by a group called The Taste of Honey. So they're the ones that got the okay to redo the song. They kind of switched up the lyrics a little bit, and that's where the chorus part, and that's where you get that classic part of Michelle, my belle, something, right? So that part also, there's a version without it because they had clearance problems. So I believe it was the cassette that came out that has it, and then by the time the CD came out, it doesn't have that part. 2 little fun facts there.
Right.
So then, like I said, you know, Ricky D, we all know, goes on, does the Slick Rick thing, comes back with the Great Adventures, which is an amazing album. right? Classic, I would say.
Classic.
Storytelling, tons of good hits on there. That comes out in like 1988 on Def Jam.
Right.
And then the Get Fresh crew, you know, they keep going. They released a song, album called "Oh My God," that came out around 1986. Songs like "All the Way to Heaven," and then in 1988 they come out with the world's greatest entertainer album. One of my favorites. That's like to me, out of everything, that's my favorite right there. It has songs like "Keep Rising to the Top," "Keep Rising to the Top."
Wow.
Which was produced by the Bomb Squad, which I would have never guessed, and I don't
never
think
knew that.
I don't think I ever really knew that either. And it's not a sound that I would have associated with the Bomb Squad.
No,
right?
not at all.
So they ended up producing that for them. And then also, right, in '88, they sampled from the Heat Waves classic "Ain't No Half Steppin'," right, for the chorus, which the same year Big Daddy Kane sampled the same song for his song.
Wow.
Ain't No Half Stepping. So they both came out at the same time.
Right.
Then moving on, Dougie Fresh, you know, is doing his solo thing. Ends up signing in about 1992 with MC Hammer. And all I'm going to say about that is moving on to the next. All I remember from that, there was a video. I don't even remember the song, but there was a video that he put out on MC Hammer's label that just did not. He looked, talking about like people trying to fit in, right? Like you were saying, he almost was wearing something that MC Hammer would wear. He had like a band in the background. It just was not the right fit. It just wasn't the right fit. That only lasted 1 year. After that, '93, he signs to G Street label. Puts out only 3 singles. 2 of those was I and Freaks, which was done with the
Vicious.
young artist, right, who was Little Vicious at the time, then changed to just Vicious. And they had it set up that I was supposed to be the main single, which it did come out as a single, but Freaks kind of overshadowed it and did a lot better. And, you know, to this day, you throw that record on and it still rocks, right?
Right.
So then moving forward, 2010, there's a group called Cali Swag District. Have you heard of them?
I think I heard a song called "Teach Me How to Dougie."
Teach Me How to Dougie, which kind of pushed Dougie Fresh name back into the limelight. He's actually done shows with them. He performs a song sometimes, right, when he's at doing concerts and stuff like that. He'll perform the song and do the dance. So apparently that group saw, I forgot where this was. It might have been Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, but they saw kids or whatever doing this dance that to them they saw had some moves that were signature moves of Dougie Fresh.
Okay.
They went on, create the song, also in a way to pay respect to Dougie Fresh.
Absolutely.
You do right. And then you see the video when they're doing the dances. I didn't understand when I first heard that song. I was just like, I didn't get it.
Right.
I'm like, why is these kids, like what? How do they know? I just couldn't put it together. I didn't understand it. And it wasn't until I saw Dougie Fresh himself kind of performing and everything, and I was like, all right, cool. So
makes sense.
He's putting a stamp on it. They give him a nod. So that's pretty cool. One of my personal favorite songs of Dougie Fresh is a song called "Nothing" that was on the album "Oh My God" that came out in 1986. And again, I just love the beatbox, man. I love that. That for me, he's done stuff with Stevie Wonder. I don't know if you've seen video clips of that, with Stevie singing and he's doing the beatbox.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, for me, it's a highlight. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to show a little video clip of Dougie Fresh. This was at a summer stage, right? So out here in New York, they were doing a series of concerts throughout the summer called Summer Stage. They travel from borough to borough, do it in different parks. This is one that was done in Central Park. And Dougie Fresh, actually, this was the Rocksteady reunion. Anniversary, I'm sorry. One of the Rocksteady anniversaries in Central Park, hosted by Summer Stage. Dougie Fresh comes out. So I want to share a clip of this, man, because I think you guys will enjoy it.
fun, okay? I'ma say, I got something new, you say what you gonna do. I got something new, you say what you gonna do. I got something new, what you gonna do. I got something new, y'all. What you gonna do? I got something new, so what you gonna do? I got something new, so what you gonna do? Straightforward, now this one I can't hold back. A brand new song to make you all sing along. Take a second, but once you get it, and it's over, you'll be finishing the bar like a true poet. Even if you don't know it, get with it. Fill in the blank word when you hear it. Get up, cheer it, got the club near it. Don't stop. Get it. Hold up. Wait a minute. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after I finish this, it's gonna change your life. All you gotta do is have fun. Listen, if I said 5 plus 5, what they equal? 10. What's the big clock called, Big? Big Ben. Big Ben, right? We're gonna do it again. 5 plus 5, what they equal? 10. What's the big clock called, Big? 10. Nah, Japanese money's called. See? Come again. Then you gotta start. You gotta have an end, right? In life, when there's a start, there will always be an end. Am I correct? That's right. 5 plus 5, what they equal? 10. What's the big clock called, Big? 10. Nah, Japanese money's called. See? Come again. Then you gotta start, you must have a head. If you got paper, you know you know. The worst enemy to be your best friend. See? Come again. See what I did? You get the idea? Y'all got it? Listen, if I say 1 plus 1, what they equal? 2. Say the people you hang with sure. It's something ain't old, it's new. See? Come again. Grass is green and the sky is blue. I gotta sneeze. Achoo. If it ain't a lie, then it must be true. Finish this line, you know how we do.
Yo, I'm gonna let this rock because you're gonna get a kick out of this part.
Right? Let me give y'all a hit. How many of y'all born and raised New York City? Make some noise. So the abbreviation for New York is NY. All right, listen. Lay low. If I say NY short for what? New York. You got it? Okay. NY short for what? New York. If you're Muslim, you don't eat pork. When you drink champagne, you pop the cork. When you eat your cornflakes, you lose a fork. Don't worry about what happened at summer stage. That summer stage. All right, last one.
So he got everybody with that
The
one.
world's
man.
greatest entertainer.
World's greatest entertainer, man. And yeah, so he came out and rocked it that day. Let me see if just to get a little taste of his beatbox.
They just don't make them like him anymore.
I mean, I think that sums up my highlight for today, man.
Wow.
I had to share that. Hopefully you guys, watching, enjoy it. I know it's a little long, but I'm hoping that for those who maybe have not experienced the Dougie Fresh show, to get a little taste of what it is, man. And we're talking about somebody that came out way back in the days, right? Still doing it, still relevant. One last thing I want to mention also, the Get Fresh crew, one of the first hip hop groups to travel to Africa.
Wow.
Song, also, I believe produced by the Bomb Squad. I got to double check that, but there's a song called Africa that they did based on their travels to Africa and their experience there. So that's another little fun fact. And if you watch the movie Beat Street, he makes 2 appearances, right? One is when Lee comes in, he does his little dance, he goes to the party he wasn't supposed to be. You can see Dougie chilling. And then the Christmas party, got the Treacherous 3, Kumo D and them doing their rhymes or whatever, and Dougie Fresh pops his head out and does his beatbox. Classic scene right there. Classic. But yeah, man.
That was dope. That
Dougie
was dope.
Fresh.
Yeah, man. Glad we're able to give him his flowers on this particular episode.
Yeah, man. Like I said, one of my favorites to this day. That's why I wanted to make sure I gave him his flowers, like you said. Impacted my life. I was trying to emulate him, imitate him, and all of that.
We all were.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I was trying to hit that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mastered it back in the
day. Yeah, you got plenty of time, man.
Okay, I'm gonna practice.
So, man, another good one, man. So everybody watching, make sure you check us out, right? Go to YouTube, CHHG Podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is our second episode as far as our November Hip Hop History Month.
Absolutely.
Next week, we will be back with another one. So make sure you check us out to see who we highlight in that one. Anything else?
That's about it. We appreciate everybody for the support. Like you said, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to follow us. We got a lot more great moments coming up this month. I am the journalist Sincere.
I am Uncle E. Also follow us on Instagram, CHHG Podcast. Make sure you check us out there because you will get all the updates to everything we're doing.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Sincere, man. Once again.
Hey,
pleasure.
Thank you so much, man.
This was fun, man. This was a lot of fun.
I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot.
Me too.
I'm still a student.
I'm till the day we die. Hey, also, just quick. Hip hop is what? 48 years old. Hip hop.
Crazy.
We're right there, right? We're growing up with them.
Absolutely.
So that's a blessing, man. We came up at a good time.
Absolutely.
All right. To the next one, everybody.
Salute. Peace.